You're welcome to today's class. In our last class, I taught you the plot review of Willis Finkel's The Lion and the Jewel. In this class, I will be exposing you to the theme and character review of the work, The Lion and the Jewel. This is actually an offshoot of our last week work. For our lesson today, at the end of the day, you all should be able to define the concept, theme, and you should be able to discuss the various themes of the word, the lion and the jewel, as well as identifying the various characters in the work. For the first theme, we shall be looking at the theme of neocolonialism. This theme of neocolonialism can be clearly seen in the character of Lakunle. Lakunle, though an African, but is able to show himself as someone who has jettisoned his cultural nuances and has aligned himself with the foreign culture. Then also we have the theme of change. Both Baroka and Lakunle are concerned about change. But the question we are going to be asking ourselves, what kind of change are these persons seeking for? The change they're seeking for is unique in their own different ways. Outside the theme of change, we shall also be looking at the theme of vanity and shrewdness. When we talk about vanity, the personality of CD is portrayed as one who is vain. When she knew that she has become popular, we see this element portrayed seriously in her. We also have the theme of bribery and corruption. Baroka, as someone who does not want his people to be exposed to civilization because of his selfish whims and caprices, is portrayed as corrupt. Aside Baroka, we have the surveyor also, who is also a corrupt individual. Now we also have the theme of trickery and manipulation. Baroka is termed to be a force because of his witty nature, and we also see him manipulating these tendencies when he tricked and manipulated not just Sadiku but also Sidi to doing his bidding. Then we have the theme of betrayal of trust. The theme of betrayal of trust can be linked to Sadiku. Though Baroka had told her that he is impotent in confidence, but instead of keeping this to herself, she sold out. Outside that, we have the theme of love and marriage. When you look at this work entirely, it's weaved around this particular theme of love and marriage. But the perception by which the people view love is what is very subjective in this particular work of art. Then we shall be looking at the theme of feminism. Feminism as a concept we know is that movement of a select group of persons or a select sex that are able to assert themselves in trying to portray that sexuality. And this is clearly seen in the character of CD. Then female subjugation. In Africa, it is a well-known fact that most women are subjugated because they are tied to the apron strings of the men. As you can see in the character of Sadiku, who is subjugated in such a way that she does not have a voice of her own. Then, we shall be looking at certain characters in this particular work of art. Now, when we talk about characterization, what are we talking about? We are talking about the persons or personalities created by the writer to portray his intent through what they say and what others say about him. Now, the first person we'll be looking at here is Sidi. Sidi is a pretty young damsel who is the cynosure of her eyes because of her beauty, a rarity among girls her age and contemporaries. Because of her beauty, she becomes vain because he is the cynosure of her eyes. Outside Sidi, we have Baroka, who is termed the Lion of Ilujunle. Baroka is also known as the Force, a very witty and powerful personality who does not want his people to be exposed to civilization so that he will be able to subject them to do his dictates. Then we have the young lad known as Lakunle, a 23-year-old young teacher who has allowed that element of neocolonialism to becloud his reasoning to the extent that he jettisoned the culture of his people as far as he's concerned. The African culture is barbaric and outdated, and as such, should be jettisoned. Then we have the very head of the harem of Baroka in the person of Sadiku. Sadiku is the first wife of Baroka. And as the first wife of Baroka, she is supposed to be very powerful, but she's portrayed as a personality who does not have a voice of her own. Ayla too, though a minor character, not much is said about her. All we know is that she is the last wife of Baroka. Alatu, as the last wife of Baroka, is supposed to be the darling of Baroka. But this is not to be because not much is said about her. Then we have the stranger. This stranger, though a very minor character, but his role is very powerful because he is the one who is able to bring City to the limelight through the picture he snapped her, which made her become very popular among all other maidens in the village. Then we also have the wrestler. The wrestler was portrayed as someone though powerful, but when he engaged in battle with the Lion of Ilujile in the person of Baroka, Baroka was able to pull him down, showing to us that Baroka is a man of strength and vitality. Then we have the surveyor. The surveyor in this particular work of art is a very corrupt personality. Why? Because he was able to take money from Baroka. And the question is, why did he do this? Because of his selfish reasons. Now, it is important for us to understand that Woloshenka did not just give this title to it just for the fun of it. There is a significance of this title, and the title shows to us that Baroka is a very powerful person, while Sydney on her own, though beautiful, is a very vain character. Dance and drama is a very powerful tool in Africa, and this was judiciously used by Wodoshenka in this literary work of art because we see elements of dance and drama which was used to portray the literary work of art to the next level. Biblical allusion, like we know, is a situation where ele- elements of references and excerpts from the Bible is being espoused through a dramatic work of art. And this we clearly see in the literary work of art. Then the use of flashback is a technique used by playwrights in order to conjure past experiences and bring them forward in the literary work of art. And this we can see in the very opening scene of this literary work of art. So flashback is a technique employed by Wolosinka in this work of art. Then for dramatic irony is a situation whereby we see the audience or the readers privy to information that even the character playing a particular role is oblivious of. And this we can see in the personality of Sadiko and Baroka. Then the unity of time, place, and action comes to bear when we look at this literary work of art, because the playwrights clearly use the unity of time in this work because from the beginning down to the end, everything falls within 24 hours, which is morning, afternoon, and night. Also, we have the dramatic use of irony in this literary work of art. Yeah, the work is very ironical when we look at the situation where Baroka tries to tell his wife, Sadiku, that he is impotent, and all that transpired between Baroka and Sidi, where Sidi thought Baroko actually was impotent, so actually an ironical situation. We also see the loquaciousness of Sadiku. Though Sadiku is supposed to be a reserved woman as the head wife of Baroka, but she's actually loquacious. She talks a lot. And that was why Baroka was able to capitalize on her shortcomings. Now, for Baroka, what was Baroka's fear? Okay, Baroka's fear was for his people not to be exposed to civilization because he knows when they are exposed to civilization, they will no longer be eulogizing him and paying him all the homage that he actually expects from them. That's actually his fear. Then we see that Sidi, though a very pretty damsel, she is a very gullible young lady. And this gullibility plays out when she tried as much as possible to mock Baroka when she was told that Baroka is impotent. Despite all that Lakule told her, she never listened to him. Now, for Africa as a people, we have an ideology, and the ideology is to project the cause of Africa to the next level to show to the world that we are a people of intellect. And this is clearly exposed in this particular work of art by Wole Soyinka, showing us the African ideology. Now, as a people, we have our culture, we have our nuances. And as a people, Wole Soyinka tries through this literary work of art to show the dignity of the African culture. And how did he do this? Through the personality of Sidi. Sidi shows to us that yes, you must pay my bride price, Lakule, if I must get married to you. Okay, now outside that, we look at the deflated pride, and that's clearly seen in the character and personality of Sidi, who at the end of the day was conquered by the very witty Baroka through his wittiness. Now, we have the dichotomy between the Western and the African culture. Now, the Western culture can be represented by Lakunle, while the African culture can be represented by Sidi. And what's this rift about? Now we see Lakunle trying to get married to CD and refuse to pay the bride price, and this does not sit well with CD. As a result of that, the differences. Now, my dear students, we successfully come to the conclusion of this very robust discourse, and I'm very sure that you've learned a whole lot in this literary work of art. So, my dear students, I would advise that you take care of this assignment. One, you have to define the concept of themes. You also have to discuss the various themes in the play, The Lion and the Joy, and also identify the various characters in this literary work of art.